All right, guys. So you're gonna have to forgive me a bit for the echo. I'm here in the office, but this video has nothing to do with penis enlargement either. So you can skip this one. This is more of a anniversary for me. So I've been doing Leviathan Wellness and Getting Bigger and Peak Male Physique for a year full time at this point. I put in my letter of resignation over a year ago at my former employer, and I did a live stream my last day 360 days ago. So I had something written up, but it came out a little too bit stroking my own ego. And the main thing I really wanted to get my point across with is that you guys are the reasons why I'm here today with as much success that I have. Because I would not have been able to start two relatively successful businesses right off the bat if I did not have your following and your support. So I am solely in your debt when it comes to that. And it also helps that my business partner was willing to put down a small fortune to get this started, something I would not have been able to do on my own. So, Hank, I've already told this to you many times, but you have changed my life, and I promise that I won't squander the opportunity you have given me. Same thing goes for the guys that watch and don't buy things. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have the same street cred that I already have. So, me making a fool of myself online is much more credible that I just have people tuning in, not necessarily buying our products. So my goal when we first started Leviathan and Peak Male Physique was that I only need 1% of my following to have a very successful business. So right now, Getting Bigger is over 100,000 subscribers. For easy math, that means we want about 1,000 returning customers every month. So based off of our products, you can kind of tell what we were shooting for. But we are doing well over double to triple that. So if we're talking about this in just people, it's 2 to 3% of the entire community supports us, which is really a margin of error when you talk about this in a scientific sense. 2.5% is a margin of error normally. So that's all we really needed. And since it's just exponentially grows, it just scales with that 2.5%. So to the 2.5% that do buy our products, thanks a lot. I really hope it works as well as it does work for me. But other than that, if it's not possible without your guys' support, if you're helping us monetarily by supporting us with supplements that you can get on leviathansubs.com, and if you're just tuning in watching our videos, because I started Getting Bigger because I was so crippled by my own insecurities that it made it very hard for me to live my life happily. So even when I did get over the crippling size anxiety, I still had a large chip on my shoulder where I would be just angry at the world because I wasn't good enough in my eyes. So therefore I had to prove everyone else wrong, even though they don't really give a shit about me, right? So that's something I did, I think, a pretty good job over the past 2 years, is getting over that chip on my shoulder. And it still kind of bites me in the ass the way I acted online a couple years ago, but for the most part, I am much happier without this chip on my shoulder. And on top of that, I'm finally kind of in a role where I actually feel like I'm having an impact. So I used to work at a Fortune 250 company. I was at the bottom of the barrel. So even though it paid pretty well, I felt like I had no impact whatsoever because I had to go through my senior developer, and then I had to go through my manager, who then had to make sure it worked on the business side before I could do anything. So I was stuck using 20-year-old technology, which there's a reason why we updated past it, okay? And it just slowly became soul sucking. I really liked my manager, and that's why I stayed so long. But if it wasn't for Leviathan taking off and Peak Male Physique taking off, I would still probably be in that job, not very happy with myself. So again, thank you for giving me this way out of corporate America. But I don't want to say it was necessarily easy transitioning because, one, I had no real escape plan. So my original plan was okay, I'm going to have my books written and published before I quit, so that way I have a nice safety net. But the guilt of me slacking at work made it very hard for me to continue working there. So like basically the last month I was there, I was spending so much more time with my clients and stuff rather than actually working. So it got to the point where I was not able to give it my all at my former employer. And that's why I resigned so suddenly, is just because the guilt was getting to me and the stress was getting to me. And so the first couple months of being self-employed after like I got, I guess it was kind of like a severance from my former employer, I was hard. Like I had to take up consultations, which did not fit well into my schedule. I had to pick up more clients that I really shouldn't have really picked up just because it doesn't scale well. Then it made it harder for me to write the book because the time that I was going to spend writing my books, got put somewhere else. So I was not able to get like that stable income that I needed until like July, and then it all started to fall into place. But like I was a fucking mess mentally until about, I would say, September. And there's other shit going on. Someone was threatening me and all kinds of stuff. I had to give out my real identity, Grant. But I mean, there's some things I wish didn't happen, but I don't care that my name is out there. It would happen eventually. And I actually take pride in what I do now because, well, one, how successful it is. And two, I just know how many people that I help. And quite frankly, it is not as weird teaching penis enlargement as a lot of people think, because so many people are insecure. This is no different to me than being like a cosmetic surgeon, because all they do is like, fix the imperfections with scalpel and filler and implants. All I'm doing is showing you how to do it without needing such invasive procedures for much cheaper. So to me, that part of my business, which quite frankly is only a quarter of my business now, that's how crazy Leviathan is doing, is like does not bring me as much like embarrassment, I guess, if that makes sense. But really, this brings me to my next point. Leviathan has been my main focus for the past month now. So I can't really go into too much details, but last Thursday, so like Thursday the 20th, I would believe, I'm not exactly sure on my dates right now, I signed a relatively large deal with a marketing company. So Leviathan is going to have some prime time attention. Now, they came to me, apparently one of their interns there watches our videos or just knew of us somehow and recommended us to the talent agency, the team there, and they set up an endorsement deal with us. So there was a lot of shit that needed to get figured out. Okay, so one, we had to, check the credibility of this organization. They're credible, just very new. Two, we had to see what exactly we were getting into, legally speaking. Three, if it is as lucrative as I'm thinking it is, because we're completely going to a different market segment, getting all kinds of different credibility, I'm going to need to triple my stock, which right now, as I look around at 10 boxes, it's going to be much more than triple right now. But basically, to put it in perspective, we had to order so much stock that it is more than my house when I first bought it. Okay, so like I live in Pittsburgh, houses are dirt cheap, but that's how much stock I ordered in preparation for this. So like for the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I've been spending so much more time at Leviathan essentially, and it's distracted me from what actually makes my personal income come in. And I actually had to like pause coaching for a bit because of how lucrative I believe this is. So like I can't devote any more time to my other stuff because that's how important that is to me. So that kind of brings me to this hard place where I really still want to help you guys with this stuff, but like it's just been absurd on Leviathan, and I can't really not do this opportunity, right? Because like we talked to a couple lawyers and they're like, these kind of deals are a dime a dozen, but for like our company, it is not a dime a dozen, because like you have to be okay with the other side of the business, because I'm assuming they did properly vet us. They knew I had a YouTube channel. Literally the first thing I say on my home board. It's BD. We're gonna talk about how penis enlargement works. That's literally the pinned video on my YouTube channel, so they know exactly who I am. They know who Hank is. Okay, and it's cool that they don't really care about that, but like a lot of other companies, a lot more old school companies would care about that. So that limits our, connections. And so I guess it's a really roundabout way of saying to that intern that recommended us, thanks a lot. I'm not going to squander that opportunity you're able to get for us. But I'm rambling, aren't I? I just wanted to say thank you, and I wanted to apologize for kind of neglecting this part. I'm still going to do content. It's still how I make money for the most part. I'm only like I'm barely pulling in any money from Leviathan right now. I'm barely pulling any money from product sales right now. The vast majority of my income is still my books. And since I quit coaching, it's just my books right now. So I'm not going to ask you to buy my books, but like they're pretty damn good. If they've sold over 1,000 copies right now, it's probably more than that. I never checked the numbers. I'm not really like into that. I'm just make sure I get my revenue for the month so I can pay my bills. But if you want to support me, just me specifically, get my books. You'll get all my content that way in a very distilled format, and it'll be updated as I change my mind. As you guys know, I change my mind a lot. Then if you want something to like actually support the main part of my business, LeviathanSubs.com, Amazon for the same stuff. I'm currently working on marketing. I'll pull up a few pictures so you can see how far we have come in the past couple months. But it's been a ride, guys. I never thought my life would turn out like this, and it's all thanks to you and Hank for believing in me. So thank you from like the bottom of my heart. I don't show emotion that well, but like when I say that I would be nothing without you guys, I mean it. There's no other logical explanation other than the sheer support that you guys have given me, and I've turned that into what I have now. So I'm going to wrap it up here because I'm expecting an order soon. I don't want to be interrupted, and it's probably been a 15 to 20 minute video already. But again, thank you. I'll have much more content eventually. And also, I'm making a video course that's been on the back burner, but I'm hoping to get that done by the end of May. May is a very big month for me. Okay, I'm out. Talk to you later.